We will now move to the public hearings. The City Council's procedures for public hearing will be as follows. Staff will provide a report and clarification of items presented. The public hearing will be open for comments for those in favor or in opposition to the item, followed by rebuttal to any comments made. The public hearing will be closed, and the city manager may respond to any questions raised by the public. The public will not have an opportunity to respond. Discussion will be brought back to the City Council for direction or action. Can we get a report from staff on this item?
Yes, good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. I believe I've got up, there it is, the PowerPoint coming up. Noah Rao here to present on this item for solar here at this facility and the award of an energy services agreement for this. This project supports overall strategic plan goals for quality of life and organizational effectiveness. All right, a little bit of a background on the project. This facility, it is a significant size with 40,000 square feet of usable indoor space. And as I'm sure you know, it has a significant electric bill that goes along with all of that. So back in May of 2023, the city applied for the Building Forward Infrastructure Grant from the California State Library to install a solar system and a backup generator for this facility. In November 2023, the City Council approved the acceptance of this grant, which provides 75% funding with a 25% city match. A design build RFP was issued in January 2025, but when we received responses in February of 2025, we only received one, and it did not meet the RFP requirements. This proposal had a lower generation rating, but a larger storage capacity, but the upfront cost of that proposal was $2.35 million. The proposal in front of you this evening, the SolarMax proposal, it has an upfront cost of just under $1.5 million, and I'll note that the backup generator as part of this award will be coming separately at a later date. So the California Government Code, Section 4217, authorizes public agencies to enter into energy service contracts without competitive bidding if the agency finds that the anticipated cost of the energy services provided under the contract will be less than the anticipated cost of energy if purchased from other sources. So the calculated net present value of the project that's proposed this evening is just over $1 million. That demonstrates that this project cost is less than the cost to purchase the electricity over that period from the utility provider. This finding is what is needed to comply with this government code. It equates to an estimated 12% rate of return on the investment. The proposed solar system from SolarMax is optimized for the current net metering structure of NEM 3.0. It has a power rating of 399 kilowatts with 726 panels and will generate an estimated 687 megawatts per year. It has a storage capacity of 250 kilowatt hours. The proposal estimates that the system will reduce annual electric costs from around $160,000 down to $82,000 in year one, and that difference of savings is expected to grow over time. And as you can see in the graph here, the generation is the green, and then the utility consumption is the blue bars. And so there's sometimes we'll be generating more than we'd be using, and other times we'd be generating not enough and using from the grid. This is an image from the proposal, and it's just an example layout from SolarMax that illustrates the feasibility of laying out these 726 panels. The final layout will be determined during the design phase, but you can see it does work. Right, it is respectfully recommended that the city council hold the public hearing and take any testimony, and then adopt a resolution approving the agreement with SolarMax and all other necessary actions described in the resolution. And that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for your presentation. I will now open the public hearing. City Clerk, are there any registered speakers?
Mayor, there are no registered speakers.
I will now close the public hearing. I will now bring the discussion back for City Council deliberations. Council, do you have any comments or questions?
Your microphone.
I know the SolarMax is out of Riverside,
Yes.
and I know we have local solar companies. I think even the gentleman down here is local on solar.
He
I
actually
believe.
represents SolarMax as
Oh,
well
you do
for this.
represent SolarMax. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we were dealing with somebody local also, so
Yes.
that's great. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, so my question is over. Thank you.
Sure.
I have one comment or question. So you said our savings is expected to grow over time, but I think the panels over years produce less, but I think that difference would be SCE utilities going up exponentially.
It goes up at a higher rate than they decrease, yes.
Okay, that's what I wanted to clarify,
Mhm.
so.
I just want to make sure one thing, there's 15-year guarantee on that, batteries and,
It's 15 for the inverters and
Inverters.
30 for the solar panels.
okay.
Will there be any battery backup at all?
There is storage. There's 250 kilowatt hours of storage, so that helps us offset during the evening peak hours.
And the solar panel is going to be on the ground?
They are carports. Yeah, so it's going to be covered parking.
Covered
Ah,
par-
shoot.
Yeah,
Okay, carports. Thank you.
covered
Mhm.
parking. And what's the total build time?
They
Estimate?
have 6 months, but that includes the design and the entire project of full construction.
From design to finish?
Mhm.
Okay.
So my questions are, the generator that comes in the next phase of this, that will hook up to the solar panels so that no matter what happens, they'll have electricity in this building?
Totally separate from the solar panels, but it'll tie into the main electric panel for the building, and it'll be a natural gas backup generator.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
it'll only kick on if the grid is down and we can't use,
Right.
the solar system.
Okay. Can you go back to the design map?
It's coming up.
I think it was close to the last one. That, oop,
Right there.
there you go.
It's
So. I'm trying
example
to-
layout, yes.
There's, well, it's shade structure.
Mhm.
So the two up towards the top are the ones over here by the Simpson Center?
They're the ones right in the back here.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the others is over on towards the police department?
On the east side, yes.
Okay, which means removal of a lot of trees. Where are we
This
going
is
to
true.
put the replacement trees?
That's to be determined.
Okay, just so long as we're in on that conversation.
All right.
Because, now, nothing's going on the roof?
Nope, these are not for the roof.
It was designed to have solar panels.
You don't get nearly enough up there.
Oh. Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, when the building was built, that was taken into consideration. They said, well, the roof would hold, someplace on the roof would hold panels.
I'm sure we could look at that and you could get some, but there's not enough room on the
Yeah.
roof to get
I
all
like
of them.
creating the shade structures. I think that's
Mhm.
really good, but I definitely then want to be in on the tree planting conversation.
All right.
Any other questions, comments? Can I have a motion to approve the item?
You certainly
I
can.
move, oh, you go ahead. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
This is my building.
Oh, okay.
Get it right.
I put blood, sweat, and tears into this building. Where's staff recommendation? I will move staff recommendation. How's that?
And a second?
I'll second.
City Clerk, may we have a roll call?
I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Krupa, a second by Councilmember Lodge. We'll do a roll call. Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Lodge,
Yes.
Councilmember Mails,
Say yes,
Oh,
Joe.
yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Krupa,
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That motion passes 5-0.
We will now move to our next public hearing, item 15B. Can we get a presentation from staff on this item?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. Monique Alanis-Flater, Community Development Director. This is a continued public hearing item for tentative parcel map 38430. On September 23rd, the City Council voted to continue the public hearing to allow the applicant's attorney and appellant to work with the city on amendments to the conditions of approval regarding undergrounding of utilities and landscaping. This is going to just be a brief overview. The conditions with regards to condition number 922 and condition number 34 are outlined in the staff report to the City Council. If you would like for me to provide an overview of those, I'd be happy to, but this will conclude my presentation, and I'm open to answer any questions.
Did anybody want to see any of the presentation again? No? Okay. Councilmember Clark?
Yes, I do. Have the proposed improvements along Florida and San Jacinto been reviewed and adopted by Caltrans?
Which improvements are, Councilmember
Along
Clark?
Florida and San Jacinto, the
The-
improvements.
They will be required to, through the encroachment permit process, Caltrans has to review the driveway improvement and landscaping.
Have we received the title report showing all existing easements? And does the tentative parcel map identify all easements that are needed to be relocated or being extinguished?
That is an excellent question. During the preliminary review for tentative parcel maps, typically staff, city engineer will require the preliminary title report. As part of this review through our principal engineer, it was identified that there are some discrepancies that need to be clarified prior to the final map approval.
And finally, are the dimensions for the Florida row, as shown in the tentative parcel map, sufficient to build to Hemet's general plan standards?
Currently identified in the review with the conditions of approval, it was noted that on Florida Avenue, the right-of-way, which is Caltrans right-of-way, Highway 74, that Caltrans should be consulted to verify all necessary right-of-way and road improvements exist. However, per our general plan, the current half-street right-of-way shows 50 feet, which is right now at 94 feet of right-of-way. So currently it appears that there's sufficient right-of-way. However, was noted there are lacking 2 bike lanes as shown in our general plan. And many times the existing conditions don't or not consistent along the Florida Avenue corridor. This would have to be verified through Caltrans. And then also on the final map, the subdivision boundary will be required to be shown to the center line, and that no new driveway approaches along Florida Avenue would be required to replace existing approaches. They would have to be per city standard.
Okay, those are my questions.
Any
Thank
other
you, Monique.
questions, comments from council?
In the, thank you, Monique, in the staff recommendation here, let me get back to it. If we approve this item, are we giving the exemption with in lieu fees to or the condition number 22 on the undergrounding of utilities? Or is,
So the way that it's crafted, instead of just requiring undergrounding of utilities at this stage, as part of the condition, the applicant would execute and record to the satisfaction of the city attorney and city engineer a covenant and agreement, undergrounding deferral and notice of obligation running with each parcel created by the map, which would defer performance of undergrounding or payment of the in lieu fee. Where if there was, for an individual parcel proposing, if there was a triggering event in the future. So it doesn't, it does not, it defers future undergrounding or in lieu fees.
so do they, I guess that's where I'm getting confused on this, and then I'll get into my other reasons. Usually, if we grant the exception, they pay the in lieu fee, and they don't have to do the undergrounding unless something happens further on. But if we're going to approve this, and then we have 10 property owners in there, and one of them does something, that means all of them have to chip in and pay for the undergrounding?
Yes, so if there was a triggering event in which there was intensifying the shopping center based on the existing condition, if they were to expand the size of the shopping center, or if there were any type of electrical upgrades, major electrical upgrades that would require upgrade to the infrastructure for the shopping center as a whole, they would have also the opportunity to be required to at the city's engineer's review, analyze what that cost is, and there would have to be a sharing of that cost for either the in lieu fee or undergrounding.
Okay, then my next questions are to city attorney.
Okay.
How does the city benefit from subdividing this shopping center, going to 10 owners? And I'll just add in a little aside here. Looking at the unfavorable result we have had in a couple other shopping centers in town who have gone to multiple owners, and the total decline, degradation, and everything else negative you can say about the shopping center dying, how would we prevent this with 10 owners?
You can't. Yes.
Well, it certainly creates an enforcement challenge if you're looking at the shopping center from a holistic, comprehensive approach. You're no longer dealing with a single owner. You are dealing with a collection of owners. There are ways to address that. We address that in the residential context, for example, by requiring the formation of a homeowners association, and by including in those formation documents language which allows the city to enforce the CC&Rs. Now, we could look at a similar structure if that was something that the council wanted us to explore with the applicant, where there is a binding agreement among the parcels for the common maintenance and for property upkeep, and a city enforcement right under those agreements. That's not something that I think we've extensively discussed with the applicant, though. But that is something we could explore if the council wanted us to do so. Keeping in mind that we're dealing with a subdivision application here, and so the bases for making conditions and also for denial are regulated by the city's code and state law.
So, again, how we got to start speaking English here. How do we enforce that? I mean, you can look at the, and I'm going to say this for the old timers in the audience, the old Pick and Save shopping center and the old Henry shopping center. They are both now, and the one across the street that used to be Alpha Beta. So those of you who have been in the community for 30 years or longer know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
how do we, they have all gone to multiple owners of the shopping center. And all three of those shopping centers look really terrible. They are run down, the landscaping is horrible, the pavement, the parking lot itself is horrible. There's no upkeep on the businesses. There's tenants in there, but they really, it needs improvement. And the city needs a lift. So if we agree to this to go from the 1 to the 10, how do we avoid that downward spiral? And how do we get some guarantee that the parking lot and the landscaping is going to get done within the 6 months that I talked about last time? And have multiple owners put their feet to the fire that when it starts getting run down, their shingles are falling off, their tiles are falling off, their sidewalks are dirty, that it's kept up
I'll try answering again in English.
in English.
In English this time. We could require that they enter into an agreement with the city to that effect.
And that's the agreement. You can put all of what I just said into an agreement that will hold their feet to the fire.
That is certainly something we could explore if the council directed it.
You know, along the same lines of what Linda said, that is a tall order when you have 10 different people that you have to go to. So I think I said it at the last council meeting. That means you are giving code 10 more headaches if each one chooses to be a headache. And I already hear enough about how we're stretched so thin. I personally agree with Linda's initial, Councilmember Krupa's initial, there's nothing holding them there.
Right.
So
And-
we make,
We did that business walk on State and Stetson where they had that situation with
Oh, you knew which one I was talking about. We know.
multiple owners.
Yeah.
And we couldn't get any of them to fix up their places, so that was what, 8 owners or 6 owners on that one parcel? 5 owners? And they want to do 10 different
Is
parcels.
it 10 or is it 7?
No,
It's
10.
a total of 10, however, there's 2 parcels that are dedicated to reciprocal parking. So it's 8.
It's
So
3
Okay,
parcels.
I thought
It's
last
part-
meeting you said
I
7.
thought there was 3 parcels now, 3 separate parcels there.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Two of them are already independently owned, correct?
Okay.
Actually, no, this is all owned by the same
The
same
entire thing,
ownership,
including
same
the
ownership.
gas station and the restaurant?
And the gas station is excluded from this.
Okay, they're
yes.
excluded.
Yeah.
so let's go.
Yeah, and to Councilmember Mail's comment, you know, they probably didn't have the regulations in line like what Mayor Pro Tem Krupa is asking for. So if we get that up front, then we
Yes.
can enforce it. And we obviously didn't get it over there, so.
And so just to explain how the enforcement mechanism works through the common interest agreement, essentially you state what the maintenance obligations are for every parcel within the current shopping center. The city has an enforcement capability where we can either require that a property owner complete that maintenance obligation, and if they fail to do so, then the city can do it and levy a special assessment against all the property owners to pay for it. So that's the enforcement mechanism, which is much faster and much stronger than our current code enforcement remedies generally.
So if one tenant is not complying, or 3 tenants are not complying, we can go after everybody in the complex. So
No, so when I'm talking about going after everyone, I was thinking more of the common area maintenance.
Okay.
That's the issue. If you had an individual property owner, just like an HOA can go after an individual homeowner for not complying with the CCNRs, so too could the city go after the individual parcel owner.
Okay.
Okay.
I make a motion that we.
Not yet.
Nope, nope, not yet.
No, I'm not done.
Oh, go on.
I have one more issue with the parking lot. And I know we talked last time about getting the parking lot resurfaced and getting landscaping done within that 6-month period of time. Can we add a condition in there? And I know you're going to have to talk to the applicant about a maintenance schedule for the parking lot, that after it is totally resurfaced, that it needs to be re-slurried or re-chipped or whatever those other things that you can do to a parking lot to make sure it stays in good condition, and have it restriped like every 7 years?
We could certainly work with the applicant to add a condition that would require repaving and restriping before the final map is approved. We haven't had we weren't aware of that condition, so we haven't had an opportunity to negotiate the language
I'm
like
sorry,
we have here.
I just thought of that recently.
That's okay. I wasn't here last time, so it's also my fault. So we could certainly discuss with the applicant, and especially the applicants here, get their concurrence on that. We could include that language if that was the council's direction, and if we had the applicant on board.
Yeah, I just feel we need to put as many safeguards in writing as we possibly can to ensure that absentee landlords do their due diligence and do their responsibilities. I mean, they've got a good business. That shopping center at least is full, does a great business. That parking lot is always full. And hey, it's our town.
Any other comments at this time? So I would say we would need to continue it one more time.
Do we have the applicant here?
I believe the applicant was supposed to be on the
He
line
was
via
supposed to be
Zoom.
online. He was traveling, I believe.
I see someone raising their hand. It may be worthwhile to see if the applicant will agree to these conditions here at the hearing, and then we can draft the final language like we did with their attorney and bring them back for final approval, Mayor. Rather than finding out tomorrow when we email them that there's a problem with the one.
So this isn't the original person, though. I don't know if he's the authority.
Let's ask him.
Do these people have the authority to make the decision on the spot?
And you have to open the hearing too.
Mayor, you may want to open the hearing if we're going to have the applicant talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will now open the public hearing. Are there any registered speakers? Sir, would you like to say something?
If you could state your name and identify your relationship to the application.
Yeah, Brad Hilwig, Hilwig Goodrow Land Surveying. We're the surveyor and engineer on the project. I think in your last statement of agreeing to the conditions, I think it'd probably be best on behalf of the owner and the applicant that we just continue to the next meeting, if you guys are okay with that. I think there's a lot of clarification that's needed, and that would probably be best.
Thank you.
Council, to help our discussions with the applicant, can you express how serious these new conditions are to your consideration of this project?
Yeah, it's extremely serious, because without, I'm not happy with this at all.
And Mayor, perhaps we could get, just a straw poll from the council as to if the council is in agreement with those conditions.
I certainly am.
Yes.
Yes, I want to see some conditions, and I want to make sure that it stays nice and neat and clean and up to date, so.
And Mayor, I think the city manager has some additional conditions he wants to add.
I'm inspired by the Mayor Pro Tem's suggestion on the paving, and I would also suggest that some recurring painting of the entire structure be required. Let's say that's every 10 years. We pick the cycle. The Public Works Director may advise on recurring frequency, and perhaps also annual inspection of the roof and replacement of any damaged tile, or thorough complete replacement. But certainly that would be necessary before final map. And then also I recommend annually recurring.
And Mayor, if the council was agreeable to those would be the kind of things that we would put in the CCNR document.
Now, these are not going to be as-is sales, correct? They're going to have to bring it up to standards for sale.
So the map has to be recorded, and in order for the map to be recorded, which requires council approval, the conditions have to be satisfied.
Because I'm not liking it, so.
Yeah, so just to clarify, they cannot sell the individual parcels until the map is ready, which means they have to comply with all the conditions. So I think to answer your question, all the conditions which are included have to be satisfied before any sale could go forward. They can, of course, sell the entire shopping center, because you can do that without going through the conditions of approval. Yeah, the motion would be to continue the hearing to allow city staff to negotiate additional conditions of approval for the project.
Okay, so then I don't close the meeting because we're gonna.
Yeah, we would not close the public hearing.
Okay, got it. May we have a motion to continue this item?
You have a motion to continue this item
And a
until
second?
staff.
Do we
can-
want to do to a date certain? Stephen?
I would not do it to a date certain. If you could just give us until we're ready. I'm thinking it's probably going to be the first meeting in November, but I don't want to overpromise.
Continue this until the time when staff has all the reports together.
And a second, please. I will second it.
I have a motion by Councilmember Lodge, second by Mayor Peterson. We'll do a roll call. Councilmember Clark.
I'm going to abstain.
Councilmember Lodge.
Yes.
Councilmember Males.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Krupa.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That motion passes 4-0-0-1 with Councilmember Clark abstaining.
We will now move to receive and file. Are there any questions or comments from the council on the Warren registers and periodic payroll payments, quarterly grant report, or the quarter one update on the fiscal year 2025-26 strategic plan action item tasks?
No, I'm good.
No, I'm good.
No.
No further discussion. We will receive and file the reports. We will now move to the consent calendar. All consent calendar items will be acted upon simultaneously unless requested by an individual council member for separate consideration. Are there any members of the council who would like to pull any consent items for separate consideration?
I don't have any.
Yep, I'm good.
Go ahead.
I would like to pull 17H.
Everybody else good? Can I have a motion to approve the remaining items?
I make a motion that we approve the remaining items.
And a second?
I second it.
Oh,
Yeah,
go ahead.
either way, that's fine.
I heard a second by Councilmember Clark first. We're going to
Yes.
do a roll call. I'm sorry, excuse me. A motion by Councilmember Lodge to approve the consent calendar with the removal of item H for separate consideration. And then I heard a second first by Councilmember Clark. We'll do a roll call. Councilmember Clark.
Yes,
Councilmember Lodge.
Yes.
Councilmember Males.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Krupa.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That motion passes 5-0. Moving on to 17H.
Okay. I pulled 17H. In full disclosure, I am a member of the Hemet Rotary Club that has been putting on the Tinsel Tri for several years now. Tinsel Tri itself has been going on for 37 years in our community, and I pull this so that I can abstain from the vote. I do not want any look of impropriety, and I do not benefit financially. I'm going to be very, very tired at the end of that day, especially after the 5K. And I invite everybody in the audience to sign up for at least the 5K. You too.
I can't run.
You can walk.
Did you want me to
I
live
can't
for
walk more than 10
Christmas?
feet At a time.
Got to make a motion to approve it.
I do a motion to approve consideration of the Hemet permitting fee waiver for the Rotary's Tinsel Triathlon.
I'll
No
se-
5K.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Clark, second by Councilmember Mails, with Mayor Pro Tem Krupa abstaining. We'll do a roll call. Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Lodge.
Yes.
Councilmember Mails.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Krupa abstains. Mayor
Abstain.
Peterson.
Yes.
That motion passes 4001.
We will now move to the discussion action items. Can we have a report from staff on the discussion item 18A?
No.
Push the button.
Push the button.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm new to this. All right, so I am here today to present on our community grant funding program for fiscal year 25-26. On March 25th, City Council approved the community grant funding program framework to support local nonprofit organizations serving Hemet residents. The fiscal year 25-26 budget includes $100,000 allocation for nonprofit community grant funding program. Fiscal year 25-26 community grant applications were made available to the public on July 14th with a submittal deadline of 5 p.m. on September 15th, 2025. City staff received 39 applications totaling $547,965 in requests. The city's ad hoc committee, consisting of Mayor Peterson and Councilmember Mails, met with the city manager, the administrative services director, and the procurement administrator to make recommendations for the fiscal year 25-26 community grant funding program. The next few slides are just a list of all the 39 applications we received. And a little bit in the future, you'll be able to view them a little bit closer up, but I'll just go through these next 5 slides a little quickly. They're in alphabetical order. They include the applicant, the event, a brief description, and the amount they requested. Requests, we had a minimum request amount of $2,500 and a maximum of $20,000. Of those 39 applications, the ad hoc committee made recommended awards to 17 of the organizations, and those are listed here. Do you have any questions on those recommendations? I do have a live spreadsheet that we can go to next to kind of play with some numbers if we need to.
I'm good where it's at.
Thank you for the presentation. And council, do you have any questions, comments?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm good where it's at. I don't think we should mess with it at all.
No, no.
In light of that, may I have a motion to approve the item?
I make the motion, we approve this item.
I'll second that.
City Clerk, may we have a roll call?
Thank you, Mayor. I have Councilmember Lodge with motion and second by Mayor Pro Tem Krupa. We'll do a roll call. Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Lodge,
Yes.
Councilmember Mails,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Krupa,
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we have a report from staff for item 18B?
Yes, Mayor. Stephen Graham-Pacifico, your city attorney. I'll be presenting on this ordinance along with Chief of Police Ariano. One of the strategic plan items was to identify solutions to recreational vehicles, RVs, that are stored and abandoned on the city streets. We have had difficulty obtaining services from our existing tow providers to tow and dismantle. And I'll turn it over to the chief, who can talk about sort of the day-to-day issues that the police department has faced in this area, and then we'll come back to me and I'll sort of walk you through the ordinance. Chief?
Good evening, Mayor, council members. So I'm here to answer any question you guys have regarding this ordinance, tow ordinance, covering our RVs and recreational vehicles. So the issues we've been having out there is we have a regular tow rotation list with our tow companies. And a lot of them really don't want to pick up these recreational vehicles because it's very costly to them. And unless there are state mandates and certifications you have to dismantle these vehicles, and if you don't have that, then you're paying out of pocket. So they have to store these vehicles for up to 30 days. Then if they're not a dismantler themselves, they have to go to one of the tow yards that do dismantle and pay per foot in order to get this vehicle dismantled. So it does nothing. There's nothing for their business, you know. So as far as what we deal with is we'll call a company out and they're unavailable or they don't have the proper vehicle to tow this recreational vehicle. So we're out there, have officers out in the streets, sometimes for over an hour waiting for a tow company. And so there's a lot of issues this is gonna solve. So what we're looking for is to send out an RFQ and find out who can dismantle these vehicles. I know there's at least 2 of them that we use currently, and there may be more, or there may be more that want to get into this business. And then we will create a separate tow rotation with just these dismantlers. So when we call specifically for a recreational vehicle or RV, then they will be put on that tow rotation, and we won't have to bother the other tow companies. That will be a separate. We're not changing anything else with our regular tows. So this is just for the RVs.
So we'll have 3 rotations, the regular tow, the junk tow, and the RV tow? Is that right?
We have as far as the PD goes, it's regular tows, and now it will be the RV tows, yeah.
Oh, and then we got
There may be something with code enforcement, yeah.
That's one,
yeah.
okay.
I see on there that you want them to pick them up within 45 minutes. Is that realistic?
It's absolutely realistic, yeah.
Is it? They can
Actually,
get there in that
I think
time?
actually we have 20 minutes right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Being generous.
How often that happens, I don't know, but it's something that we just, we put a time limit because we don't want companies taking advantage of, obviously I need the officer back out on the street and not sitting on this vehicle, so,
Okay.
Sometimes we have to hold their feet to the fire. So we have to put some sort of time limit.
Question. Go ahead. A question, Chief, on the dismantlers. Do they have any guidelines on the length of time to dismantle a unit, or can it sit on their property for 6 months and be another hazard and nuisance?
I think there is time limits. I think there's a minimal time limit. I don't have all the facts, but I think they have to hold on to it for certain, see if the owner's gonna come back, see if they're gonna reclaim it, see if they're gonna get their vehicle registered, get all the proper paperwork to pay for it to get it back out. But I don't think it does anything for, I don't run a tow company, but I don't think it does anything for a tow company to hold on to that trailer. They want to get rid of it as soon as possible, so.
Yeah, it's just taking up room.
They parred it out, don't they?
Some, but most of these that we're coming across, the ones we're talking about, are in just such disarray and bad shape. I mean, most of them don't even run.
Wow.
And so that's the vehicles we're talking about. We're not talking about, picking up a $100,000 motorhome on the street and we're not talking about that. We're talking
And
about the ones that
who
are.
pays to get it towed away? Is that
The
something?
PD does, yeah.
Okay,
It's a regular tow, just what we're doing now, nothing different.
okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Could we also include verbiage for any RV that's valued under 500, which will not be hard for a lot of those, so that we can skip over the 72-hour wait?
Yes, I have to look into that verbiage that you sent me, but I will look into that. If we can add that to that, we definitely
Yeah.
will take that into consideration.
Yeah.
But like I said, most of these don't even have to wait the 72 hours because we can prove that they're full of cobwebs,
Yeah.
they can't run. So that will bypass the 72 hours most of the time.
I know a lot of them get quote-unquote gifted to homeless, and they set them out in our 4 corners of the city. And so somebody may not be in it, but be enticed to live in it. So that, I know that that $500 in the past, in my experience, helps a lot of the officers just bypass and say, oh, look it, I wouldn't pay $100 for it because it's so
Yeah.
bad, so.
Yeah, absolutely. That is happening. I think, you know, if I have an
Yeah.
RV and I don't know what to do with it, it's not
Yeah.
operational, I'll gift it to somebody. You know, they'll
Mhm.
take it off my hands. What we also find is happening is because it's so costly for these tow yards that cannot dismantle them, it's easier for them to just resell them for $100 or $200 or even less than that.
Right.
It makes space on their lot, it's off their hands. And now what we're seeing is we're towing these vehicles and they're ending up back out on our streets again
Mhm.
within a week or two. So, I mean, this is going to solve that.
That's good.
Good.
Yep.
Yeah, you get
Mayor and council, I did have a couple of changes that I'm going to recommend to the ordinance, if you don't mind. To section 78-302, I'm going to recommend that rather than going through the RFQ process with the providers coming to the city council for approval and contract execution, that it simply be the city police chief establishes objective standards as listed in B1 through 5, and that any applicant that meets those objective standards in the judgment of the police chief shall be added to the program. And then under 78-304A7, clarifying that the city manager would have the authority to execute those tow provider agreements. That should allow us to expedite the program. It would allow for, you know, as new dismantlers come online, they would be able to join the program. And so that should allow the chief to be able to operate this program with maximum efficiency, and we would not need city council approval to proceed forward any further. And we can bring those changes along with, we'll look into Councilmember Clark's potential exception under the vehicle code for vehicles under $500. And if we can verify that, we can add that exception to the ordinance as well when it comes back for second reading.
I mean, it might just help in one situation for the officer and for
Well,
the.
yeah, we'll take it. Anything that will help us out, yeah.
Right.
Because I know you've towed several of them 2 or 3 times each, because
Yeah.
some yard will just let it go for $100.
Yes,
And
yes.
that's.
And I understand where they're coming from somewhat.
No, I don't.
But we don't want that to happen, so this is why we want this. We want to go in this direction here.
Just,
Right, because they also catch fire.
Yes.
And it's not good for the people. in
There's a lot of
charge.
problems. I can list a whole bunch of stuff that happens with these RVs.
Right, I'm sure you can.
Stephen?
Yes, sir.
Question on the dismantling of the RVs. I kind of talked to Mark about getting the landfill to give us a price so we could just go up there. Is that brought to your attention?
So that's something that we can do under the ordinance language that it exists. We could certainly price out the cost of disposal and include that in the agreement with the dismantlers. That may be a way to lower the cost of the program overall.
If I can just touch on that real quick on the cost, I think in the first year it may be a little higher cost, but remember I said we're putting out the same RVs over and over, so we're just doing, if we go this route, I think after the first year, we're gonna see less and less of these RVs, because we're not towing the same RV
Time and
2
time
or 3
again,
times.
yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I agree.
Is there going to be any issue with the really old ones that may have hazardous material in them?
Possibly, but that is why you have to be certified and meet all those mandates through the state in order to dismantle them, because there's specific ways of doing it.
Right.
I think you have to have like a chemical or whatnot that you spray on it as you dismantle it, whole bunch of things, you know.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anything else? Okay, so there were quite a few changes on this. Can I have the city attorney read maybe a possible motion for this?
Or you could just make a motion
Thank you,
with
Mayor.
amendments.
I guess I deserve that. So what I would recommend for a motion is staff's recommendation as stated in the staff report with the amendments that were read into the record by the city attorney.
Okay.
May I get a motion for that?
That's my motion. Thank you.
I'll
A
second it.
You need a second, yeah.
I heard a motion by Councilmember Clark and a second by Councilmember Mills first. We'll do a roll call. Councilmember Clark?
Yes.
Councilmember Lodge?
Yes.
Councilmember Mills?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Krupa?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes.
That motion passes 5-0 as amended.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
City Attorney. We will now move to item 18C. Can we have a report from staff?
Evening, Mayor, City Council. As promised, I will be talking a little bit more about fire prevention.
Your mic's
I think
not
your
on.
microphone's off.
It's
I'm
out.
pretty sure the police chief turned it off on me.
Yes, probably on purpose.
On purpose, huh?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. As promised, I'm going to talk a little bit more about fire prevention, the fire prevention program, the inspection program, and the fees associated with it. I'm going to be providing some background on the program, providing a description of the program, the fees, showing what other jurisdictions are charging for the same inspections, and am going to be requesting direction on how the council would like to approach these fees for inspections. A little background, in September of 2020, the council approved a contract with CSG Consulting to provide plan check and fire inspection services for the state mandated inspections. We'll talk a little bit about those. The following year, in 2021, the council approved a strategic plan which included an action item to implement a fire prevention program and to conduct public education. The following year, the Fire Prevention Bureau was established and employees were hired to rebuild the program. This included the creation of databases of occupancies, publication of appropriate forms and documents, and the conduction of inspections. Since its reestablishment, the Prevention Bureau has conducted over 3,000 inspections and corrected numerous fire safety hazards. In early 2025, the Fire Prevention Bureau began the process of implementing new fire prevention software called First Do. This software is intended to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the fire prevention program. Staff began using First Do in September of this year, and we are still integrating the legacy data into the new software system. So the legal authority conducting life safety inspections are mandated for all schools, hotels, motels, and apartments. These inspections are called SB 1205 inspections because Senate Bill 1205 is the legislation that amended the Health and Safety Code, extending the previously mandated school inspections to include the other high life hazard occupancies, the hotels, motels, apartment complexes. Additionally, the fire code, which is adopted in full by the city of Hemet, allows the fire code official, which here is the fire chief or their designee, the authority to inspect and enforce regulations related to the fire code, and this authority was memorialized in the Hemet Municipal Code in August of 2025. The purpose for conducting fire and life safety inspections is to decrease the risk of life loss in the event of a fire, to protect property, to improve community resilience and risk reduction, to reduce legal liability, and to enhance the community. The primary reason inspections are conducted is to protect the lives of the employees and visitors to Hemet businesses. This is accomplished through the identification of hazards that are known to cause fire, ensuring functioning fire suppression and detection systems, and making sure there are adequate routes for exit in the case of an emergency. Another purpose for the inspection is to reduce fire-related property damage to the business and other community assets, thus leading to improved economic stability. These inspections have not been consistently conducted over the years, which makes them even more important. Many businesses have gone without the identification of fire code violations, which has led to some business needing several corrections. This process allows fire staff to become familiar with the occupancies when they're not on fire, and allows our folks to meet with those in the business community to develop these important relationships. Conducting inspections is a component of the rating system used by the Insurance Services Office, or the ISO. With an ISO score, the lower rating represents a higher quality of fire protection, which is an element used by insurance companies in determining their premiums. By conducting these inspections, the city is meeting its mandated obligations as well as demonstrating to the public that Hemet is committed to public safety. Additionally, conducting life safety inspections enhances the safety of businesses and their customers alike. And reducing the occurrence of fire will reduce the costs to the businesses and to the city. So this slide represents a high-level overview of the program and the data collected over the last year. The left column shows the total inspections conducted in 2024. There were 1,509 total inspections, with 350 of those being the Senate Bill 1205 state mandated inspections. The annual business inspection, the next line down, represents the majority of interactions between fire staff and the business community. These inspections include a variety of establishments such as the storefronts, shops, strip malls, office building, real estate offices, etc. Fire staff conducted 895 annual business inspections, 524 of which were the initial inspections, and 370 of those had occurrences of fire code violations that required a re-inspection. Additionally, city staff will need to begin conducting defensible space inspections in accordance with the laws associated with the new fire hazard severity zones identified by the state. Incidentally enough, we received a request for one of these today. And then the column on the right is the total revenue for all of fire prevention in fiscal year 24-25, which totaled $367,765. And below that is the comparison of fiscal year 2021 with a total of $50,022 prior to the establishment of the Fire Prevention Bureau. So this slide shows how cost recovery is established for an annual business inspection based on the approved fee schedule. There is a fee of $198 per hour and a $99 permit processing fee for a total of $297 for one of those annual business inspections. The inspection fee is currently based on a 1 hour minimum, which takes into account staff time to update and input the information, to conduct research of the occupancy to be inspected, the time to physically conduct the inspection, complete the paper form to discuss the findings with the responsible party, and covers a simple re-inspection if necessary. The permit fee on the right column includes the staff time to input the information from the paper form into our Trackit software, to update the database of inspections, to create an invoice, to mail the invoice, to process the payment, and then to schedule next year's inspection. This element is where the focus of First Due is intended to improve efficiency. So this slide is terribly hard to read, and I apologize. It is attached to the packet as an attachment. I'll briefly describe what it is that you're seeing for those in the audience. I apologize. This shows two methods for comparing fees of other jurisdictions, comparing those to Hemet. There are several points in the fee schedule that can be compared, but the two of the most widely used were chosen for this example. The first is the annual business inspection of a business occupancy, and the second is for a multifamily apartment complex. The first column to the far left identifies the jurisdictions used for comparison, with Hemet being the top column in orange. The top row in orange. The next column to the right identifies the methodology for fee determination used by these different jurisdictions. The third column is the amount charged for business inspections by those jurisdictions, and the fourth column shows how these fees differ from Hemet. With the fees in red, the Hemet fees are higher than the targeted jurisdiction, and when the fees are green, Hemet's fees are actually lower than those jurisdictions. The fifth column shows the methodology for charging apartment inspections, and then the sixth column is the fee charged for apartment inspections, and then the far right column represents how these inspection fees compare to those of Hemet. If you look on the far right column, you'll see that most of the jurisdiction is UTO, unable to obtain, and that's because there's a difference in the way that these jurisdictions charge for apartment complexes compared to those of Hemet, with the only one being Temecula that does it the way that we do. So that is the comparison that you'll see there on the right-hand side. This table kind of takes everything that we just saw in that really confusing chart that I made and puts it into something hopefully a little bit more reasonable. Because there is difference in how the methodology is determined, the attempt with this is to create an apples-to-apples approach to the other jurisdictions. The table on the left is a hypothetical scenario for a 3,000 square foot office building. And then the cities listed are organized from the lowest to the highest, with Hemet's fee of $297 being the highest of these jurisdictions. The table on the right shows fees for a 40-unit apartment complex with 4 units per building for a total of 10 buildings. And then Hemet ranks second to the bottom in that comparison. So during the special council meeting on August 25th, City Council expressed interest in conducting a public outreach campaign to inform the business community about inspections, since some of them have not been inspected in many years. On this slide is an example of a draft flyer being created to distribute via social media and printed form. This flyer and others to be created are intended to show the how, the what, the why of annual business inspections. The purpose of this campaign is intended to develop trust with the business community, to show them what to expect during these inspections and how they can keep their businesses safe in between inspections. So tonight, staff is requesting guidance from the City Council on the best way to balance the cost recovery for the services rendered while respecting the business community. Staff has provided 4 options, but is open to alternatives as the council sees fit. The first column, we could keep the existing practice, which charges $297 per inspection for just that annual business inspection, and yields approximately $265,000. This is a full cost recovery for the services provided and does not require any subsidy from the city. Alternative option number 1 eliminates, so the next column over, eliminates the fire permit fee, the $99 permit fee, keeps the $198 hourly fee that is currently approved in the city's fee schedule. This would yield approximately $177,000 and would require the city to subsidize about $88,000. Alternative option number 2 eliminates the fire permit fee, the $99 fire permit fee, and reduces the inspection fee from $198 down to $150. That would require approximately $131,000 in subsidy by the city. Or finally, the alternative option number 3, which eliminates the charge for the first inspection entirely and charges $150, or a reduced fee for a re-inspect, which would yield about $55,000 in collection, and then require about $210,000 in subsidy to offset the cost. And then finally, staff is requesting a mechanism by which the city manager can handle minor dispute resolutions and waiving fees up to $2,500, allowing for a more streamlined process for dealing with fee disputes with the community. With that, I am open for any questions and directions that you may have.
Can you bring the letter back up that you send the businesses?
Put your mic on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you bring the letter up that you send the businesses?
Sure. I can try.
Okay, don't worry about it.
There we go.
There you go. About how long prior to you going out to the businesses did you send this letter out?
So when this program was initially reinstated back in 2022, there was a flyer that was posted via social media. Nothing was sent out in paper. So it's really not sure what the extent of the reach was of that particular flyer. That flyer did have data on the backgrounds, the inspection process, and then the fees, but there was no real gauge on how many of the community actually received that.
Yeah.
So with this one, as I said, this is still in draft form.
Oh,
So
okay.
the intent is that this will be part of a much larger campaign. I mean, we're limited in our ability to get the information out, but the goal would be that we have this flyer as well as several others as an ongoing reminder to the business community that these inspections are out there. And there are a couple different ways that we're toying with trying to get the information out. Obviously, the social media, we have Jennifer Cortez, who's a great resource for us. We plan on utilizing our community risk reduction cadet to help spread the word kind of in person to the business community. And then obviously, as the prevention officers are doing the inspections, trying to get them to engage a little bit more in the community to understand why we're doing these things.
Yeah, because we got a lot of complaints from businesses like, I guess they were more like cold calls. Nobody expected anything. They're saying, why are you coming out now? What's going on? So that's why I asked about the letter. And I mean, the fees seem reasonable. I don't like the 3,000 square foot building fees that were the highest, even over Riverside. Maybe dropping the printed permit, you know, and bringing it down to $199. But I don't want to subsidize you guys either, so maybe we just leave it as is, as long as we let them know we're coming out. Because if they don't know anything, you just pop in, boy, it really rattles a lot of feathers. So.
Yeah, and we definitely understand that. Obviously, when we conduct these, where there has been a lot of that surprise element, not intentionally. It just
Right.
takes a considerable more time to schedule and then to try to get the information with the property owner, the responsible party, to get a time when they're open or when they're available to do it, and then they're not going to be there necessarily when we need to be there. So it just takes more time and energy and effort to try to plan and coordinate that with a set schedule. So I completely agree, as we talked about on the 25th, that we can do better at promoting the program, explaining to the business community that this is coming, and it may be unannounced. It's not intended to be we're just dropping in to catch you doing something bad.
Yeah.
It's just, hey, if our folks are out doing inspections in this strip mall, we're going to inspect the entire strip mall at this time. We always ask for permission. It's not something that we demand to be let in. And obviously, if the business says, no, you can't do it right now, then we can call and schedule something there. But it's much more of a logistical issue that we're trying to get a lot of businesses inspected with a very few number of people. And sometimes, it's about efficiency of getting, this whole area done while they're out in that particular area.
Thank you.
The biggest complaints that I have heard is not only the cold calls, but okay, they were here for 10 minutes and that cost me $300. Why?
Mm-hmm.
That and the surprise factor, as we were talking about before, and you and I have discussed a couple other items that have popped up on people, and it's just,
Yeah, and hopefully that slide provided a little context as to the why, that there is much more that goes into this process than just the time that they spend conducting the investigation. There's a lot of information that goes on behind the scenes beforehand. There's stuff that happens after they leave the business. And then, because this was a relatively new process, we're still evolving the efficiency piece of it. I did mention the First Due software. That is designed to help us be more efficient at this. It's also intended to reduce the amount of staff time that goes into it. So it's certainly a viable time to talk about these fees, because if we're able to make the system more automated and efficient, it should be less of a cost recovery for the city.
so this new software is going to even things out, because we've had people say that I get inspected every year and my neighbor never gets an inspection in 5 years. So
The reason that happens is not necessarily because of the software. It just comes down to capacity. There are so many businesses that had not been inspected, and we only have 2 fire prevention officers. So for us to inspect everything that we're mandated to by the state, to keep up with the new construction, and then after all of that's done, now we're looking at the annual business inspections. So with only those 2 people and the other workload, it does take some time for us to get to both you and your neighbor, with obviously the goal being that we inspect every business every year, and we do everything that we can in between those inspections to make sure the businesses are safe. But as we're talking about tonight, we're balancing that between the ideal fire prevention bureau and what we have available.
But you're firefighters, you can do it all.
We will try our best,
smack
sir.
'em?
Yes, Matt.
We will try our best.
You do a very good job for what you got.
Thank you, sir.
I have one question. I appreciate this coming back and all the work you have done to put this in. What types of businesses, because there was like 382 that are on annual inspection, what type of businesses are they that require or are mandated by the state to have an annual inspection?
So those would be the schools, hotels, motels, apartment complexes, assisted living facilities, senior apartments, anything where there's a high life hazard.
What happens with, say, automotive repair and gas stations and things like that? Are they on that mandated list?
No.
No?
The hazardous materials piece would be.
Okay.
But, you know, like a gas station as in, yes, the hazardous material piece is regulated, but the actual like store, you know, kind of convenience store considered a mercantile, that would be categorized under those annual business inspections that we would like to get to every business every year, but we're not mandated.
Okay, thank you, and I appreciate this.
Welcome.
I personally think option 2 is good. That would take everything from 500 down to 300, and I think our businesses would greatly appreciate that. I don't know what the other opinion is, but I think that's a pretty good discount. And it is important that they get inspected. And I hope it's a thorough, like Councilmember Lodge said. I mean, I've heard people say, well, you know, they needed an inspection for a water heater, and they're like, well, the guy came here for like 5 minutes and he was gone. You know, it's like, you know, it would be nice if they spend a little time with them and maybe give them a couple hints or, you know, pointers or something, so they feel like they got their money. I don't know, but yeah, I personally like option 2.
So if we remove something, then you say the city subsidizes this, the amount that we're not charging them?
Mm-hmm.
And where does that come from, the general fund?
So yes, I mean, this is the 367,000 that I identified was the amount of all of the revenue side that fire prevention as a whole brought into the city. Obviously, the revenues are a factor in the budget creation process, but the city ultimately determines what expenditures you're willing to authorize. If there's a mismatch there, then yes, it's going to be coming from, you know, the general fund, or it's not going to be replaced with the revenue side. I mean, the trade-off, as I said, is, you know, is the balance here, because in order for us to inspect every business every year, we're going to need more people to do that. What we're trying to do with just the way the current fees are structured is recoup the cost that was established in 2021 to reestablish this prevention bureau. So that's that trade-off is, you know, for the service level decided for by the city council, do you want us to do all of these things, then this is that cost to do it. If you want to lower the cost to the business community, absolutely valid. I would love to do this for free, but the other side of it is the decrease in revenue means that we're not able to hire more prevention folks to conduct more inspections to make sure that the city's safer, and that's the balance here.
So the more you can hire, the more you can bring in also,
So yeah, the intent is, it's not about what we can bring in. I said the intent ultimately is that we increase the level of service to the community. We want to stop fires before they start, because once they start, they cause more damage. You know, it's not anything that's you know, super scientific. What we want to do is get into the areas that we can get into. We want to identify the common fire hazards. We want to educate the business owners on what it takes to prevent these things from happening. We want to, you know, the thing about fire prevention is you don't ever see the result of it, because you're never going to know what fire you prevented. You'll just see the fire after it happened. So, you know, as a community member and a business owner, I totally understand it. You know, I haven't been inspected. They were here for 15 minutes. It cost me $300. What did that get me? Well, if that stopped your business from a potential electrical fire, we're never going to know. But the truth is, the business didn't burn down, your product didn't burn down, your employees didn't get, you know, put off work for a while. So, you know, the intent is not ever for us to make money doing this. The
Not
intent
make money just to make money, but to hire more people.
We would ultimately like to have more people to get out into the community more, to do more public education, to inspect more businesses, to make things safer. But we also understand that the city has financial constraints that we have to balance, and that the business community also has financial constraints. So that's why I don't envy your position here.
Yeah.
It's really easy for me to tell you all your options. It's up to you guys to make the hard calls.
Yeah, one of my first thoughts was to eliminate the permit fee, and then I thought, well, eliminate the first inspection. But if it's going to take away from the funds to hire more people, then I'd rather just leave it and make sure that we let them know who we're going out there a month prior to going out there, just to make them aware of it. So, I mean, I'm just, it's either way, whatever the
Mayor?
majority here want to do.
Mayor, can I say something? It's no secret that the building that I am employed in is in terrible shape. And when y'all came out, that first inspection did so much to improve the building. Tiles got placed back there, a leaky pipe, all kinds of things that, yes, it costs $300. Personally, I think it needs to be at the 198. And if you're back re-inspecting, it wasn't because something we didn't do. It was because the landlord put her heels in and didn't do it. So she takes the rent, but she's not going to bring the building up to. So I really think that you might have that 198 and then the reinspection 198. But if you have to go out again, which you had to do, hello, that's your time. I know it's a lot of money. I know for a lot of mom and pops, but it's seriously, we brought everything down. The things we were told to do, we did. But everything else had to wait until some landlord decided that that was going to be something they were going to cover. And in the meantime, what happens if we had a fire and those tiles weren't up in the ceiling? Just my observation. I think it was worth it. I know probably my employer was shell-shocked, but she got things fixed too. So kudos to you.
I don't want to throw a couple more wrenches in it, but with the recommendation to give the city manager the authority to deal with some of these, it might make this process, regardless of what you folks decide tonight, a little easier to handle if he can manage those at the city manager level. Just something to consider, as well as the city is going to be conducting a comprehensive fee study coming up at the next year, where anything that you would like to explore further in this fee schedule, that could be a potential time that we address any of those fees as you see fit as well.
Yeah. Let me ask a couple more questions that just got triggered over here. How many re-inspections do you actually do?
Last year we did 371, I believe.
That's pretty high.
Out of a total of,
1,509.
so I know you had a slide on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
524 initials, 371 re-inspections.
Okay, so that's over half. Does it take as much time to do a re-inspection as it does the initial inspection?
Depends on the occupant. Obviously, I mean, what the intent is, I mean, I hate to say the word compliance, but what we want is for the business to be safe.
Right.
If we have minor corrections that can be done on site, oftentimes we're not going to cite those. And we'll consider, if it's an extension cord issue, pull the extension cord out, we're going to sign you off. Don't put it back in. If it's something like Councilmember Clark said, they haven't been inspected in 12 years, so they don't know even what they should be doing, to prevent the fire. So, if there are some violations that we need to come back, we come back. Hopefully there's not more violations, but there could be. Otherwise, we're just going to try to focus in on those areas that we identified, and again, trying to get those resolved. So sometimes I don't have the number of multiple re-inspects offhand. So out of those 371, I don't know how many of those were more than once.
Well, mine was.
Which could have been a
3 and
factor
4.
as well. So, and that's not unexpected in a community that hasn't been doing this annually for
Correct.
quite a while. So it's not, the numbers aren't concerning. It's just not where we would like them to be.
Yeah. I'd like to see a reduction in some of these fees. And I'm looking at option one with the reinspection fee being maybe dropped to 150.
I was just thinking that.
So the first inspection, 198, reinspection, 150. And it's still going to be subsidized by the city. And then give the city manager the option to settle disputes. He's a good negotiator.
I agree. Before she said that, I was just looking at that, and that's what I would have, I didn't want to like put another option, another decision in there, but that's what I
But
was
it's a
thinking.
great option.
So I like that.
So,
It's kind of like a combination, it lessens the blow,
Should
but
be.
it still recoups some of our fees and helps the department pay for everything.
Any other discussion?
No, I
Nope.
suggest we
I
go with
think
that pay
that's good.
schedule, though.
Then I'll
Can I-
turn that into a motion of first inspection 198, reinspection 150, and giving the city manager the authority to waive minor fee disputes.
So is that removing also the permit fee?
Yeah, it takes the $99 out of it.
No, okay.
I second that.
I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Krupa, a second by Councilmember Lodge, and we'll do a roll call. Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Lodge,
Yes.
Councilmember Males,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Krupa,
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That motion passes 5-0, and for the record, I'm going to read the ordinance title and staff recommendation. Discussion and direction regarding fire and life safety inspection fees and waiving full reading, read by title only, and introduce an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Hemet, California, amending Section 2-382, granting the city manager the authority to resolve disputes and waive fees up to $2,500 as amended.
Thank you, City Clerk. We will now move on to City Council and staff reports. May I have a report from Councilmember Clark?
Well, most of my committees were covered by Joe and Linda. Thank you, Councilmember Krupa and Mr. Joe, for going to RCA for me. I had a family emergency and I was up in Humboldt County. Went to California League, and I want to thank the city of Hemet and all of its citizens for sending me, because it was phenomenal. I learned a lot. I didn't think I'd learn as much. I'm not an expert, but it was great. We have what's coming? Oh, we've got the State of the City coming up. We've got all kinds of things, but I'm going to EMWD 75th on Thursday, which will be great. It'll be awesome for me. And so that's it. I'll keep it short and sweet.
Councilmember Lodge?
Keeping it short and sweet. I also went to Long Beach to Cal Cities, and another very interesting conversations that were happening about homeless and the way the city can reduce their expenditures, and just very informative. Last night was the Hemet Youth Council meeting, and God, I just can't say enough about those kids. They are so damn smart. They're just amazing. They got some projects coming up that I think are really going to rock this city. They're going to be, I think you guys are going to be amazed at what these kids can do. Hemet Stockyard for Stock Farm is coming up, meeting is coming up next month? Yeah, next month? Yeah, so that's coming up. I'm sorry, Stock Farm. Excuse me. Stockyard is a cut of steak, okay? And that's pretty much all I got for now.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm
Councilmember
sorry.
Mills.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. State of the City dinner is coming up, and the Christmas parade is coming up, and I was told that I have to find out what vehicle I'm driving, because the lights are going to be depending on what I'm driving. So
Okay, sub for Councilmember Clark for her WRCOG meeting, and enjoyed the Hemet Firefighters Open House this last Saturday. They showcased their refurbished firehouse and had plenty of activities for kids. My grandson loved being there and enjoyed it. Also went to Cal Cities, was there from Tuesday to Friday. The best event that I liked was seeing Erin Brockovich speak. And she was quite a speaker. I enjoyed her. I got to talk to her afterwards at the restaurant, and we had a good conversation. And her word was stick-to-itiveness. Stick-to-itiveness. And I guess she's dyslexic and has problems reading, has problems doing certain things. And I could relate to her, and I really enjoyed her conversation, and especially after the meeting, after she spoke. So I had a great time and enjoyed it, and I appreciated that. Thank you. Oh, one more thing. Also went to the city manager council meeting to learn how to get along with your city manager. You're the best, Mark. Love you.
We're going to get taken care of. Okay. RTA, we have approved 6 more EV electrical vehicle charging stations at the Hemet station over on Wentworth. They are expanding their maintenance bays and their parking lot so that they can add additional storage, turnaround buses out here, which will mean more employment for people in Hemet. I attended the RCA meeting, and quite interestingly enough, we approved a $600,000 budget to amend the multiple species habitat plan, the MSHCP, to add the Crotch's bumblebee to the endangered species list. When the MSHCP was first formulated 25 years ago, something like that, they actually added more species than what was on the state and the federal endangered list. Unfortunately, the Crotch's bumblebee was not one of those additional things that was added, and to open the MSHCP and do this amendment is going to cost approximately $600,000. But at the same time, we instructed them to find any other species that they may think may become endangered over the next 100 years and add it to the list. Let's see, what else? RTA, RCA. RCTC has a naming project for the new alignment of Highway 79. When it starts being built, going from Winchester, or from Dominagoni Parkway to the Ramona Expressway through our valley, it will be an expressway, it will not be a state highway. So therefore, we have to name it something else. If you go to RCTC's social media or to their website, there's, I think, a QR code that you can click on, and you can submit a name that you think might be reasonable for it. All sorts of things come to mind. We've facetiously said, yes, it's going to be called Krupa Speedway. I don't think that's going to fly. But anyway, if you have ideas for it, please submit them. Everything that is submitted will come to a panel of 4, which will be Supervisor Gutierrez, Supervisor Washington, Mayor Valerie Vanderveer of San Jacinto, and me, because Valerie and I both sit on RCTC. So look forward to seeing what creative names come through and what we can settle on for a name for that 10-mile stretch of new road when it gets built. Let me see. I will defer to the mayor on the Arts and Culture Subcommittee. I was also in Long Beach, very informative session for Cal Cities this time. And our next general meeting for Cal Cities will be next month in Palm Springs, restaurant yet to be named. I attended the Canyon Lake State of the City, the water series. If anybody's interested in water, the fourth Friday of every month, there is a Zoom meeting that is sponsored by WRCOG, and it involves metropolitan, eastern, western, all of major water districts, and they talk about all of the state issues and the local issues concerning water. If you go on WRCOG's website, there is a link to sign up to get the get the Zoom information. The mayor and I attended the grand reopening of El Bashah. If you haven't been there, it is I don't know what type of food it's called, Arabic Mediterranean. It's on the corner of State and Latham. Awesome, good food. We got little samples of baklava and then a little gift pack of all sorts of little pastry goodies. It was phenomenal.
And a wonderful owner.
Yes.
Wonderful new owner.
Absolutely. He is thrilled to be in Hemet. He gave us his story about living other places, and Hemet is his home. So, and I think he said his kids were moving here. So, good stuff. Anyway, I attended the Birth Choice Gala out at Saboba, and last but not least, I'm going to do this. I attended the TIP Annual Awards that was in Temecula. It's the Trauma Intervention Programs of Riverside County, and it basically is acknowledging law enforcement and first responders Heroes with Heart Awards. And one of the honorees was Yvette Reinbold, Public Safety Dispatcher, Hemet Police Department, the wife of our former police sergeant, Dan Reinbold. So it was a beautiful event. It was a masquerade party. I took my mask, did not put it on, but it was really good, and it really had some moving, heartwarming stories of law enforcement and first responders of all kinds responding more than what was necessary to people who were going through trauma. Very great event. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, usually I end with Ramona Bowl, but I'm going to go down my list so I don't miss anything. So we, of course, have Boo at the Bowl again, and this year it's going to be a week earlier. So it'll be October 24th to the 26th, and it's from 6 to 9 p.m. It's a great time in our city, and it'll include a magic show, a haunted house, costume contest, a petting zoo, carnival games, and it's a lot of fun, and they decorate it beautifully. And spin art, okay. And they are now hosting, the Ramona Bowl is hosting the Bertling Ranch Market. It's been out there for several times now, and they're doing a great job out there. And the next one will be on November 15th, and then followed by December 13th. And those are also 5 to 9 p.m. I went to Cal Cities as well, and as everybody said, it was a very, very good conference this time, and we are bringing back more good ideas, and we're going to be working on some other projects as we put some of those things in motion. The Business Outreach Ad Hoc, we will be on a business walk Thursday, and I don't know where we're going yet. It's always like a couple days ahead, and you know, we have it on the calendar, but we don't know where we're going until a couple days ahead of time. So I don't know where we're going yet, but it's always interesting, and we do get a lot of good feedback from the businesses out there, and have helped them in many respects. So, and they appreciate us, you know, taking the time and asking how things are for them. So. The Veterans Memorial Ad Hoc Committee, one of the items that we approved tonight on the agenda was adding the name of Larry Lee Rudnick to our memorial, which will be at Gibble Park, and our Veterans Day celebration will be on Veterans Day at 9 o'clock in the morning, and they will also have some resources and other things going on after that. So come out and join us for Veterans Day. And I don't want to steal the city manager's thunder, but I'm going to. Yeah, but I'm going to. So the Christmas parade is December 6th, and I didn't know, but I got to pick out the theme this year. And you know, everybody loves the valley and the outdoor activities and everything. So I said I wanted the theme of the great outdoors. And that could include anything from like scenery to the skate park to the Little League, you name it, anything outdoors. So we are we are going to have some interesting entrants this year, I think, because it's wide open. So. That'll be good. So we did meet with the Arts and Culture Ad Hoc Committee yesterday, And we are in the process of forming a very good calendar for, right now, the city of Hemet. We may ask, we'll see if San Jacinto and Saboba want to join in on that. But it's going to be a great, great resource for everybody to know what's going on in the city. And that will be coming online soon. So other than that, I will turn, one little thing. Mr. Ben Sandoval over there, I heard a rumor that he's going to be at My City Youth tomorrow. Is that correct?
Yes, I did it this morning.
Oh, you did it this morning?
Oh, we missed it?
I thought it was tomorrow. Okay, well, I'm sure you wowed them all, so thank you for doing that. So, City Manager?
Thank you. My list got a lot shorter. I appreciate that, Mayor. Just a quick plug for the Chalktober. It's Chalk Art this Saturday at the library. It will run from noon to 5. It's followed by Trunk or Treat put on by our police department, and we'll have fire out there as well. It's going to be a nice community event. We always run out and then we go buy more candy, and we'll make sure that we have it until the end. And then we're going to publish another bi-weekly update this week, so people can find that newsletter at hemetca.gov. There's an email list sign up. All we need is your email, and you can keep abreast of all of these events. Thanks so much.
Thank you. There being no further business, this meeting is adjourned to the next City Council meeting on October 28th, 2025. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, 10:30.